Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast. I'm your host, Roy Kennedy, and with you, as always, is Kent.
Hello again.
Courtney.
Hi.
Matt.
Hello.
And Rob. It's not funny.
Hello.
Oh, boy.
He muted himself just for the fun of it. All right, guys, we're here with another episode of the Epic Gaming Night podcast. I was talking about how I just got back from BGG Spring, and
I'm here.
And Rob is actually here.
I was not muted.
You missed all of our amazing conversation
I'm
about
an actor.
Isaac Vega asking about Rob and if he exists,
Nope,
and
did
obviously
not
he's on
happen.
mute. He's on mute, so.
That did not happen.
Yeah.
There's no way that happened.
But yeah, Isaac was like, "Hey, who was that guy from your podcast that would get mad at me because I had that text conversation we had?" I was like, "Oh yeah, Rob." He's like, "Rob, yeah." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he hasn't let that go yet. He definitely has not let that go."
Yeah,
It's kinda
moving on.
hilarious.
So Isaac Vega. Oh, wow, that's crazy. What games have you been playing?
I've been playing all the games because I just got back from BGG Spring, and I've been playing games at work. Man, I'm with you, Rob. I could have put so many games on my list for like brand new games that have been played.
Man,
Some-
that's awesome.
Some-
Hey, how did you like the con? I know we're gonna get into that kind of stuff, but is that your first time at the BGG Spring?
This is my first time at BGG Spring.
It looks like a lot of
I
design there.
Yeah, I did BGG Fall in the past, but this was the first time doing Spring, and it was fun. I mean, it was very low key. This is their like family convention, so I think the age limit is like young. I mean, there was all sorts of kids running around and all that stuff, but it was still a lot of fun. BGG is still a very like play games convention first, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. It actually reminded me a decent amount of Dice Tower events, but Dice Tower events have such a different vibe to me. But I still really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Nice.
How many people go to that con?
I
Is
think
it
it was
size-wise?
around 2,000 people.
Pretty
So,
intense.
Yeah.
but it was
Not
so
too bad.
interesting because it was held at the airport, a hotel that was right at the airport. So literally, we walked off the plane and just walked over to the hotel, which is pretty cool. But it is not cool because everything's really expensive at the hotel, and it's really hard to get away from the airport. But Texas is cool when you actually like Uber away or have someone drive you off to like other things, So there's lots of barbecue to be had.
Barbecue.
Yeah, for sure. We went to, I think it's called like Hard 8, which is like a place where they just cook all the barbecue and you can just get like big old hunks of meat and like all this stuff. I got some jalapeno poppers and I got a baked potato full of like barbecue on top. It was delicious. And now I'm
That
really
sounds-
hungry.
That
But yeah.
sounds amazing. And then all the photos you keep posting of all the sushi.
Oh yeah,
Which had
Tom.
a birthday recently, by the way.
Tom took me to sushi for my birthday. We went to a conveyor belt sushi place in Texas, which we have one of the same sort of thing here in North Miami. But then I went to sushi like yesterday as well. Well, no, Tuesday as well, just because I like sushi. It's good.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's delicious. But yeah, Kent has lined us up with tons of awesome news, so I'm excited to talk about that stuff.
Yeah. So first one we have up is it's a new expansion for
Oh, wow.
Dune War for Arrakis. It's called Desert War, and it's going to be on pre-order. It's not going to be on. It's on GameFound for CMON, but it's not going to be on like a crowdfunding campaign per se. And it's not live yet, but we mentioned earlier, Roy and Rob are both big fans of this game, and it's going to introduce some new units for your factions. Roy and Rob, you want to elaborate on this one?
I would say that saying I'm a big fan of this game is an understatement. Like, I freaking love this game. This game is amazing. Like, it's ridiculously amazing. Like, I really, really enjoyed play. I really love War of the Ring, and this makes War of the Ring like faster to play and in Dune instead of War of the Ring. It's really, really fun. I'm excited to see what this Desert War expansion adds to it. I don't know that there's been a whole lot released yet that I've seen because they haven't actually launched it yet, right? They just said,
yeah.
oh, there's an expansion coming. So I don't know if this is more of a like reprint and then like a tiny little expansion just to be like, there's new things, or if it's like a full-blown expansion. The other two expansions for it, that came with the first printing are like really small. There's like a spacing guild that can help you like get some extra like units on the board. And there's like a smugglers expansion which adds like NPCs, and those were in the first campaign. So I wonder if it's like this size, like tiny, or if it's gonna be like a full blown thing. But yeah, War for Arrakis is a big game, so like more expansions is like, does it need more expansions already? Holy smokes! But I'm excited nonetheless.
I wonder if it's just a small box because it looks like a lot of the things they're doing are pushing some of the exclusives you got from the first campaign and doing a reprint of the base game. Maybe they just want to do a reprint. But you can get all of you can get the token set, you can get the playmat, the Smugglers expansion, and then the regular original Kickstarter box for it.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I mean, I love the game. So if you didn't have a chance to get it, make sure to like check it out. Especially if you enjoy head-to-head conflict. You enjoyed this one a lot too, Rob, right?
I loved it. I was telling back when audio was not working properly. There's probably an insta buy for me. I'm excited. Oh, ho, ho! Hey,
Ruthie.
She used to be on the show. Don't run away.
Okay.
Don't you run away.
They all said, "Hey, Ruthie."
Oh.
She just got back
That's
from
not
getting a
fair.
tattoo on her leg. And God, crazy!
Is it good?
Looks amazing. Looks amazing. Yeah,
It hurts.
she's in pain.
Well, yeah, you just had needles go in
I
your
miss you
body
guys.
millions of times.
Yeah, Rob said you just had needles go in your body millions of times. Of course it hurts.
Yeah.
She said she misses you guys, but I guess you can hear
Well-
her. She just can't hear you.
We didn't kick her out. That was
Rob said we didn't kick her out.
She can come back whenever she
She can
likes.
come back whenever she wants. All right, babe, you have to sit in for the rest of the podcast. I'm gonna go take a nap because I'm defeated by this computer.
No, but
problems.
Dune's a great game. Dune's a great game, so I hope it works out. I'll probably insta buy it. I'm waiting for them to release more.
You already have the game, right? Or did you play somebody else's
Yeah,
copy?
and I got the I went all in. I got the playmat. I got the smugglers.
playmat's
I got
really
the
nice.
The other expansion. There's the smugglers.
It's the Spacing
then
Guild. It adds like
the
little
Spacing Guild.
spaceships that can drop dudes on the board if you get them all the way to the middle or whatever.
Yeah. So I've got all that stuff. So yeah, I'll get this. And I think they're supposed to be coming out with like there were some plastic tokens or something that they were trying to redo.
Yeah, I played with the plastic tokens that are already there. I really enjoy the plastic tokens. They said they're going to redo them.
Well, some of us that ordered, we didn't have like there was a bad printing or something like that.
Oh, dang, that stinks.
So yeah. So, but anyway, I'm really excited for this game. Really excited for the expansion. I think it'll be good stuff.
Nice. The next one here is a big one. Greetings, Kabbalist. Hey now. This is the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast is having their Kickstarter, trying to basically help fund the Secret Cabal to be doing even more content. And the funny thing is, Jamie just messaged me today on X and was like, "Hey, are you coming to Origins?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, I want you to come to my meetup."
Yeah, they're having a meetup for the first time in years.
Yeah,
and it just sounds
that'd be
incredible.
amazing.
Like it's at Origins. It's going to be at the this bar kind of close by to the convention center. Sounds
Me
like an
and
amazing
Rob
time
and
to swing at
Brandon
Origins.
Pleshik would go to their meetups like way back in the day, right?
Yeah, Gen Con. Oh yeah.
Gen Con forever ago. So I'm excited they're having meetups again, or they're at least doing a meetup in Origins, even though I can't go. That's really sad. But I'd love to have shown up if it was able to happen. But make sure to go check these guys out. I love their podcast, love
When
their
is
content.
Origins?
They've been doing it. What is it? When's Origins? It
Yeah.
is like the third weekend in June or something like that. Maybe the fourth weekend in June. Third
June
weekend in June.
19th through 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Do you know those dates, Kent? Because you already booked your tickets. Because you're
No,
Yeah, he just looked
I
it
wish
up.
I would love to go. I would go just for their meetup. I don't really care about the convention.
you,
Jay, you
Oh, you
could
don't care
go
'cause it's
and fly
14
in and
stuff?
not get tickets and just go to the meetup. Well, man, I don't know if the meetup's in the convention hall. Probably
It's
isn't.
not.
It's probably
It's
at a
not.
bar.
It's at a bar. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, Jamie's like, just fly in. I'm like, yeah, just fly in. Yeah, I'll totally do that. I wish I could.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, you got it like that.
Well, my kids are gonna be here, so I need to spend some time with them. But if it wasn't for them, I'll take them with me. Be like, hey, let's go to the Secret Cabal meetup in a bar. That'll totally work out, right?
yeah.
They've got 8 days left on their Kickstarter. They're already funded. They do have a Last Light promo in there. I see.
Yes.
A lot of other cool promos for some newer games: Thunder Road Vendetta, Creature Caravan, Scholars of the South Tigris, Witchcraft, Septima, and a few others. And then they've got this cool magazine they're working on. So all the founders are gonna go together and make this old school magazine, like from back in the day, where you're looking at your magazine, reading articles, looking at cool pictures and stuff. So that's kind of one of their what they're doing. It's kind of the big thing for this Kickstarter, which will be
Magazines
fun.
are back in the day. They still make magazines.
What I mean is, like, like back in at the prime of gaming magazines, punk rock magazines, things like that, from back in the day when it was like the thing to do. Nobody gets magazines anymore, at least not regularly, unless you're not many people.
Ugh, who touches paper?
Gosh.
Touch by other people. Ugh.
Brutal.
Jamie reached out to me about doing the Last Light promo for the campaign. I was like, obviously, yeah, that'd be great. And I was like, I'm super excited. That'd be cool. And then I was like messaging Josh, my developer, like, okay, cool. And Gray Fox approved it and everything. I'm like, awesome, cool. And I kept like sending ideas to Josh, and Josh was like, that's OP. I'm like, but it's a Secret Cabal. It's gotta be OP. And then we worked back and forth and ended up coming up with the promo. But yeah, it was fun.
That's nice.
But it's like a till death ray or something along those lines, which makes sense because Cabal is till death.
Yeah.
And basically you're marking someone for death, basically, because whoever you put a token on someone's ship, and whoever kills that ship gets extra resources if they destroy it. So it's fun. It's
Is
fun.
this
fun.
For some
promo
reason
gonna be
you
available
have-
for other people, or only if you back the Secret Cabal?
Currently, only if you back the Secret Cabal, so you better make sure to check out their thing. I don't know the
Really,
future.
if you haven't heard their
but-
podcast or don't listen to their podcast, you totally should. It's
Yeah.
it's one of the best as far as board game podcasts go.
Yeah.
And
And I've been listening to their podcast and like going to their events since basically before we started this podcast, which is forever ago at this point,
A long time
So
ago.
really long time ago.
yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, the next piece of news I'm also excited about, but I'll let somebody else take the lead because I've been talking a lot.
So this is a standalone expansion for the Star Wars deck building game from Fantasy Flight. It's a 2-player. I think it's 2-player only, but it's kind of a deck builder where it's sort of, from what Roy was saying, it sounds like it's got a little bit of shares some DNA with the Star Wars Unlimited game, where you're trying to destroy your opponent's bases.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is based on the Clone Wars, but it's fully compatible with the other game. You can mix and match however you want. So you can kind of customize your game, either play with this box by itself or combine with the other box and just kind of make a mega Star Wars game. But we enjoyed that 2-player game a lot. It's pretty much, it feels similar to a lot of deck builders, but it's got some cool mechanisms where the shared market row is pretty neat, where like you have the different units, like the Imperial and Rebel units in the middle of the market, where you can fight them or then purchase them out from under somebody. So it's just kind of a fun game, cool theme. I like the whole base concept. It's not like just destroying your opponent's life as much as it is like, it is kind of destroying their base, which is kind of like life, but it's a little bit different because the bases have powers. You get to choose what bases you're using, that kind of stuff. But it's cool to see there's more coming out for that game.
And Star Wars the deck building game was one of my favorite games from last year.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure.
It's still on my shelf. It's a shame. I need
You
to
should
play
get
it.
it to
You
the
should
table.
play with your daughter.
Rob.
I think if your daughter likes Star Wars, right?
Yeah, we watched last year. We watched all of Star Wars, and this year we're starting Harry Potter. We already watched the first Harry Potter.
I think you all
She
would
could totally
enjoy
play
that.
this game, especially if she's playing Lorcana. Like she could totally easily play the Star Wars deck building game, and it would be great. There was a kid at BGG Spring who had Star Wars deck building game and a players wanted sign. And like I walked by him, I was like, I like Star Wars deck building game. And I'm like, okay. And I walked around some other halls. I came back and he was still just sitting there. It's a 2-player game. He's sitting there with the players wanted sign. I'm like, I cracked my knuckles. I was like, all right, kid, let's play the Star Wars deck building game.
You crushed him.
Yeah.
So then I taught him how to play and like show him all the different stuff and like all the stuff. And then I crushed him. But it was fun. But
You say
I was
something
trying
like
to be
yeah,
very
you
like
beat 'em.
super nice about the whole thing and showing him all the stuff and trying to teach him that like culling cards out of your deck in a deck building game is really good and like picking a good base and all that stuff. But yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I was like, and now you can teach other people the game too. And he cried and went off. I don't remember why he was crying, but no, I'm just kidding. He was not crying.
Beat him so bad.
No, we had fun. But I'm super stoked for this edition as well because it's made by one of my favorite designers, Caleb Grace, who designed Marvel Champions. So it's a great game.
Yeah.
But yeah. BGG 2023 Golden Geek Awards.
Yeah, so this is a little bit older news, maybe from a few weeks ago. But every year BGG does the Golden Geek Awards, where they give awards out to different categories of games, and they're voted on by the BGG community. And so the winners this round came out to be, so 2-player game was Sky Team. So that was
nice.
the airplane game where you're cooperatively working together. It's a dice placement kind of thing. It's pretty fun, and has got a lot of different scenarios and stuff in it. Castles of Burgundy won the Artwork and Presentation Award, the new Awakened Realms version, which is like the super decked out, amazing looking version of that which is a super classic Euro game. That's one of the best Stefan Feld games out there. And then cooperative game was
Also
Sky
Sky
Team,
Team?
which won again, which is kind of cool. So, and then expansion was Arc Nova Marine Worlds, which is just the more Arc Nova. Innovative, Hegemony, Lead Your Class to Victory, and Hegemony also won the Heavy Game of the Year. So that's like a huge game about the economic classes, and you get to play as one of the different classes, and it's just supposed to be kind of like a simulation almost, from what I understand.
Very heavy,
It's
yeah.
not a game I would approach, but
Like the
I know a
working
lot of
class
people
and all that stuff.
speak very highly of it, and it's a cool concept. And then Light Game of the Year, Thunder Road Vendetta, which I know a lot of us are massive fans of that game. Such a good, chaotic, fun time.
Inappropriate game of the year was Earth. Oh no, it's medium game of the year. Sorry.
Medium Game of the Year, Earth. Yep. So
Sorry.
I would say Earth.
That's you guys' inside joke. I wasn't even there.
Man.
They did, in the new version, they did change some of those components to look different because of some of the complaints. As far as I
I don't
understand.
think they were complaints. They were just
Well, they switched.
I mean, look, they
Yeah.
were prepared for
Observations.
safety. You didn't lose the treetops.
Yes.
Everything's
But
fine.
Earth is great. All of us have played it except for maybe Rob. Roy, have you played Earth?
I haven't played it. I have it.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
I have it
Don't
right
play it,
here.
Roy.
I really need to
Stick
play
with
it.
me. Don't play it. Don't play it.
It's fun. It's like if you like
Don't.
engine buildy kind of card
Don't.
games.
Use the
Boo.
playmat on F12. Apparently,
Okay, good. Yeah, good.
Stolen from the dice tower.
stolen from the dice
It's
tower.
all further. Yeah.
Does it have that in there?
Look, it says no longer stolen from the dice tower.
Oh, nice. If you, I think you might like it if you can handle the pretty low interaction. But if you like the engine building card games, Earth is a pretty good choice. Party game, That's Not a Hat, which is a kind of a memory based game where
Oh,
you're handing
interesting.
cards to people, and you are trying to remember what items are in front of everyone. I have not played it, but it sounds hilarious. But I'd be so bad at it. And then Waypoint. So this is a print and play game from the design team of, I want to say it's Matthew Dunstan. It's like a they do only print and plays. They did like Voyages, and they've done a few other games, but they do some really cool just like print and play, like roll and writes essentially. And that was Waypoints. I haven't tried that one. And then Legacy of You was a solo game by Garfield Games, which is kind of a campaign solo game. And I've also heard good things about that, but have not played that one personally. And then let's see, thematic game was Hegemony. We actually
Really?
I didn't realize
that made
it won
thematic
3 awards.
game. Get out of here.
3 awards. Hegemony won thematic.
I know
heavy,
people
and
love the game, but like
Innovative.
thematic,
I mean,
it's like
BGG tends to
it's like
tends to
Euro
skew heavy.
McEuro.
skew heavy.
Yeah. And then Wargame was Undaunted Battle Britain, which is great. Undaunted is a super cool system, like a deck building game kind of system, but it's like a more accessible war style or themed game.
Mhm.
That one has the planes. And then Best Podcast was One Top Co-op Shop, which I believe is Jason
Prez.
Jason Perez, yes. So he does that podcast. Does a lot of cool content on YouTube too. And then Board Game app is Unmatched Digital, which Unmatched is great. I haven't played the
I love
app, but
Unmatched.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
So, does
Lots of
any
good
do any of
stuff.
these games make you all want to try them, or anybody?
I want to try that Thunder Road Vendetta one
try.
some more, just because I really love the
I hear
game.
it's pretty
It's
good.
so good. I'm excited for the expansion for
But
that
like,
one
just
too.
keep trying it over and over again. Maybe one of these days I won't like it, but
Maybe,
right now
maybe.
I really, really like it.
Yes.
But yeah,
But yeah, some good stuff. I think.
I do need to get Earth to the table now that Rob has disconnected. I would like to play Earth at some point.
And Earth is still, I think it's still on Board Game Arena. If people want to try it there, it's really easy to play, rules enforced and stuff. So it's cool. It's
I
a good
might
way
have
to try it
play
if you
Earth
haven't
at
played it.
Dice Tower East if I haven't played it by then. You're gonna
Yeah.
be. You guys are gonna be at Dice Tower East.
Yes, we'll play it if you want to.
Snap! I will have my kids in tow a lot of it, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, the next one here is we got to get that Stonemaier love in here, and that is Expedition Gears of Corruption. I know this just got announced, right? It hasn't been
It's not, just
announced
announced
for too long.
fairly recently.
What information is there about this? Expeditions
So-
is the card-ish game version with it has tiles and things like that, and mechs that still run around on the board.
Yeah.
From Stonemaier Games, basically a Scythe
very
themed game. It's
different.
very different than Scythe.
Yeah.
Um,
So it
but
definitely
what does this add?
It feels like you're exploring that world of Scythe, but the gameplay feels pretty different. But
Very different, yeah.
what this one adds, so the first thing it adds, which is just an upgrade to the base game, is it changes all the player boards into dual layer boards with the slots for your little
Sweet.
tokens. Because one of the things about that game is where you tracked your tokens for your different color resources, the green and the orange. It was like kind of just hanging off the side of the board, and it was almost too small to fit that. So they're giving you
gotcha.
new player boards for all that, which is cool. They're adding 2 extra player boards, and then they're letting you do 6 players if you want to do 6 players, which I don't know if there's any new rules for 6 players, but it would probably have some downtime, I would guess. But
Yeah, I would play
Either
some lower
way,
player counts anyway.
the new
Like,
player
that sounds
board's gonna be
crazy.
cool. It's got some new leaders and animal companions, so that's going to just add a little bit more variety for you. Because typically you get a leader and animal companion that's kind of a little bit asymmetric to some extent, and it's adding 2 more mechs, which are also asymmetric. So you've got like different mech powers. Each mech has its own little ability or special
Nice.
thing it can do. And then it's got new exploration tokens, which basically when you're out on the map, they're going to do all sorts of different stuff. Just add some variety, add some spice to the game. And then this thing, I haven't looked into this too much, but it says there's a corrupted mech that wanders the board or something that you can fight, I believe.
Oh, like an NPC mech? Interesting.
I think so. Yeah, so I don't know if that would be used for like lower player counts maybe. I'm not sure exactly what that means.
That's cool because you
and
can't
it
actually
has-
fight the other players in this game at all. You just fight the NPC
Right, you're
locations.
kinda
And it's
fighting
really
that,
just like
corruption
getting
stuff,
resources enough to be able to beat them with the resources you have or whatever. So
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm and it just has a few more cards for the different types of cards from what it looks like. The other cool thing, it gives you, everyone starts with a hero worker, which is basically a wild worker.
oh wow,
That is, normally you have to have workers of different colors to activate certain cards. But this is a worker that you're going to have, and I think you start the game with, it's going to boost, it can be used on anything. And then there was something else, I think, that
he didn't
kind
go
of
with calling
streamlines
them the
start.
mamas and the papas. No,
No. Oh, okay. It says on the page here, it says accelerate early game progress with 6 starting resources and 1 hero worker that can be used as any type of worker.
oh wow,
So it looks like it might be almost like a prelude kind of system.
that does sound like
similar
that.
to Terraforming Mars, where it kind of kickstarts the game a little bit quicker. So maybe you already started with you've already ramped up a tiny bit, so you don't have to do as much early game progress. That's what it sounds like, and it's coming up for pre-order on June the 5th on the Stonemaier website. And you can get there's 2 versions. There's the plastic version and the ironclad version for the metal mechs
Love it.
to match the other one. That is Scythe Expeditions, Years of Corruption.
Corruption. I guess we can talk about what we've been playing now. I guess we'll start with Matt.
Oh man. So depending on which slide Roy pulls up,
I'm gonna click whichever one you say.
or D&D. Wingspan, because I'm always playing Wingspan Digital, and then played D&D over at Rob's, doing D&D
Oh,
stuff.
nice.
All of the pictures are not from me because once I get there, I forget I have a phone and just kind of
As you
look
should.
at all of the incredible work that Rob has done putting together an elaborate school. In
is this
which
the vampire
people are
school?
just dying. Yeah, absolutely. So the premise, Rob, feel free to jump in at any point in time. But the premise of our session this time was we were magically teleported into a wizarding academy that one of our player characters had an affiliation with someone. And we went there and things were awry. There was alarms going off and, corpses strewn about in typical fantasy game fashion. And yeah, it was a really interesting game, lots of puzzles to solve, some combat.
What's that cardboard on that picture? What's that? That cardboard looks terrible.
What are you talking about?
That cardboard that's on that picture right there on that. Somebody was giving me a hard time about cardboard. No,
Oh.
the other picture.
No, I was saying it was over the top.
Yeah.
It was a pun.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It's
boy.
a bad dad joke. Kent's full of them.
That was my way of trying to do like fog of war.
I mean,
What is the table on a table?
so that's the basement, despite the 3D implications of it being above the board. That was the
You should
basement.
have made them play under the table, Rob. You should have been like, get under the table. You're in the basement. Get under the table.
I put a table on top of the table, and then the board itself is actually on like 3-inch little pieces of
riser.
wood, little risers, because I end up making my board so big it ends up taking up the whole table, and so I lifted the main board off so they could still put their books and papers and stuff down. So just trying to accommodate.
It's very much an
That's
episode of Pimp
awful.
My Rides, where it's like, we heard you like tables, so we put a table on your table on a table.
We played Eclipse on a
Also
table
nice.
at one point or whatever.
Yeah.
And they
no, that
sell
was-
those now on
that was also
Kickstarter.
fun.
And my
Those things-
coworkers
and they
were
always
making
do well.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
always
I
do
just
well.
don't
My
get it.
coworkers were making fun of it, and I was like, I did this like a decade ago, and they were showing like not a decade, but like 5, 6. We've been playing board games for a long time, guys. We've been playing board games for a long time. I don't know how long ago, but it was a long time ago. That's awesome.
So Matt,
love
what
the
happened
lights.
in the session?
Man, a lot of fun stuff happened. There was a girl who was a in-world Taylor Swift fan who was freaking out in the middle of this grisly massacre that was occurring in the school.
Was she like singing
Lots
Taylor Swift song the whole time or something?
No, we have a bard in the party.
Okay.
Sammy.
Yeah, and Sammy's character is more renowned than I guess my character was giving her credit for. So we pop in and somebody's like, "Oh my god!" And it was just like, oh, "Okay, cool. There's like 30 bodies here. Is there like anything more pressing?" That you're just like, "No, my." She was.
Well, she was also looking for her
so
brother,
thrilled. Yeah.
which was a throwback to a previous session where Sammy chopped off the heads of those kids.
Oh no!
And so she's like, "Have you seen my little brother William?"
Where's William?
Yeah, I mean it was a really good session. There was tons of stuff to do. Each of the rooms that were off to the side, we had to solve not so much an Elvish riddle, but try to figure out which one of the passphrases correspond to the locked door. People kept getting shocked. Then we would go in, be different encounters, some fights.
Rob had you really get shocked, didn't he?
No,
I
but honestly,
Their chairs are wired.
some of the people may have tapped out because there was a couple of times we only had 5 passphrases and we'd go to a door and it would just be checking them off and it would be the last one. Or they would start on a random number and it would be the one before that, but they would still go through it chronologically, so it would still end up being the last one that they would do. Each time they're just sitting there taking damage, and it's just like, okay, this is great.
And I wasn't doing that on purpose. I pre-made the map. I pre-put in the numbers for the map, so I knew for all my stuff. I even made the map on Microsoft Word, so it's like all like paint. It's all colors and stuff like that.
I love
So
it.
they were just naturally terrible at trying to find out the passphrases to get in those doors.
But yeah, I mean, it's D&D. It's always a good time. It's quite delightful and enjoyable to sit down and hang out with other people and roll dice and
Best tabletop game,
hit things with
bar
a mace.
none. Best tabletop game.
It was a great session. It was.
I'm going through my top 100 right now, and I talked to Tom. I was like, I've talked to him a couple years about this. I'm like, are we allowed to put role-playing games on our top 100 games? It's supposed to be like our top 100 board games. It seems wrong to put role-playing games, but I put miniatures games, and I put collectible card games. So why wouldn't I put role-playing games? It's like, oh, you can put it if you want. I'm like, I can't. I can't do it. You know why? Because D&D would be my number one. Like. And it seems wrong to be like on a board game channel talking about board games and be like, my number one tabletop game or whatever board game is D&D, because it's true. What's gonna beat it? Nothing. D&D's the best.
Yeah.
Well, it was a blast. But You remember when Sammy found that one musical instrument? And
Yeah.
she was able to sing to it. I had stuff like that in every room.
Oh, nice.
Like
What?
I don't know if you guys remember, but I handed like I had a whole deck of cards, and I was like, all right, which number did you pick? And so I gave her that card associated with that number. But I had numbers for like every room. Like I had stuff for your character. I had stuff for like everybody's.
Man, and I thought I got the stuff for my character.
So Rob, how painful is it as a DM to just
Oh, it's
like
terrible.
spend hours and hours and hours of thought on things that your the characters in game never touch or never experience?
It's very
It
frustrating.
happens all the time.
However, though, this session was so great, it didn't bother me that much as like the previous session, because this session I'd locked them in the school, so they had to do the mission rather than just like run through it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And the mission turned out great. It was a lot of fun. Everybody really seemed to enjoy it. One of my favorite parts at the very end, to turn off the alarm system, they all had to be at a different portal. There was 3 portals, a red, a green, and a yellow portal. One was math questions. And so I'm just doing like these random math questions, like 9 times 4 divided by 3 times 6 plus 8. And so I wrote them out. And then one was a physical thing where I got 5-pound weights, and I had somebody, you had to hold them out straight. They couldn't even drop for like anyway, they had to do that for like a minute. And then the other one was riddles. And I had everybody separate out of the room. So Marlo takes the riddle people into the front living room. I'm in the back with them. And then I have the physical person off to the side, making sure he doesn't waver. And they had to move around stuff sometimes. It was a lot of fun. It was
That's
a lot
awesome.
of fun. So it was good, but it is frustrating as a DM. But what also helps me not get as frustrated is it's their story, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
just
for sure.
it's I'm the background, and it's their story. And I like it when they do crazy stuff I haven't thought of, because it's like, okay, you guys are doing this. This is happening because you're choosing to do this. So
That's so much fun.
yeah, it's a blast. I really I enjoy it.
I think any good DM like learns to just like allow, like you make a broad, like wide world in your head,
Yeah.
and you just allow the players to interact with it, and you create your own story together, and you try to be adaptable to like, okay, they do that. Okay, well, this is what happens, you know? And you just kind of like, if they want to try something, it's like, you can try it, you know?
Well,
like,
we're looking for a couple of new players for the fall, because we're about to lose Sammy and Nick.
oh, dang.
They're about to have another baby, and so shout
In
out
game
to them.
or,
Both.
What?
in game or?
No. That would be hilarious though if their characters hooked up in game. But no, yeah, they're about to have a baby. So my goal is I'm trying to wrap up this session and the next couple of playthroughs. So we'll still be in the world of that I created. We'll still have that going on. And I always knew that I was going to do like stories within inside of this world. Like I think I'm pretty committed in staying in Zuela, but like their session, this storyline will come to a close. And so if anybody's out there and you guys want to play some D&D and you're in the Winston-Salem area and you don't mind people acting silly and goofy,
Drive to Rob's house.
yeah, drive to my house. We have snacks. Matt brings the best cheese. Oh my gosh, guys, I love Matt. Like it's the cheeses that we eat, they're so good. There was this one like smoked something last time. I don't think it was a Gouda, but it was something. Just we all talk about, man, what cheese is Matt going to bring this week? Like we all get really excited about when we know Matt's coming. Like we will move the session around to make sure Matt can be there. His character and stuff is great too, but the cheese
The cheese is what's about.
cheese is so good.
There's only 2 things
Charcuterie.
I'm known for: it's cheese and pizza. So
It looked like Rob has played some Axis and Allies.
It does. Oh, and I dropped some stuff off on Matt too, on his character for D&D, which is a lot of fun. Matt, if you guys ever get a chance to play board games with Matt, you can tell when he gets really excited because he's going to get really quiet. He's going to sit up, and his eyebrows are both going to go up. He's going to. And so I dropped like this character thing on him, and all of a sudden he goes, "What? What did you just say?" You know. And so anyway, it's a lot of fun. Love Matt. Axis and Allies. So I've been wanting to play Axis and Allies for like years. I love Axis and Allies. I've got like 4 versions of it, 5 versions of Axis and Allies. My kind of games. However, the people on this podcast, they don't like to play Axis and Allies.
I'd try it.
It's so much fun. So I was talking to my dad. My dad's about to retire from school, and we were getting together for something. I was like, "Hey, are you available this weekend?" Because my buddy Nick from D&D was also available, and this is his type of game too. And so it worked out where it was my dad and my stepmom Brenda as the Axis, and then me and Nick as the allies. Now, my dad and I have played before, but Nick and Brenda have not played. But Brenda's pretty cutthroat. She's kind of mean, but in a good way. Like she doesn't hold punches. She's not like, oh, I'll be nice. No, she tries to kill you. We ended up playing for like 7 hours, but a lot of that was like laughing and goofing around and also explaining rules and stuff. We played Axis and Allies 1942. I played the new edition, the Renegade game, Renegade edition, which the Renegade edition, for all the Axis and Allies fans out there that are listening to our show, which is myself, I'm talking to myself, is all they've done is they've really done the errata for the rules, because several of the old games had misprinting on the rules, and so, but they've done a great job with the components and the game board. Nick sent me like 8 pictures of like a session by session, like here's our board after round 1, here's our board after round 2.
Oh, nice.
It was really crazy. It was a lot of fun. We're already planning another time to try to get together and play. The problem is, here's my problem, is I'm not like Kent. I haven't given up on board games. I now want to get the 1940 Global Edition, which the 1940 Global Edition is when you combine 1940 Europe and 1940 Pacific together, and it makes this huge board. Man. And I've only played this, like, I just played this for the first time in, like, years, because, again, I've been trying to play this game. It's probably been, like, 4 or 5 years since I've played Axis and Allies. And I'm already thinking, let me get these 2 other editions that are both $100 each, and then I can get... And it even comes with its own... You can order a playmat. Renegade Games came out with a playmat. It's 7 feet long. It's 7 feet long and 3.5 feet tall or wide. And I want to get it so bad, because on the 40 edition... They have technologies and stuff where you can do different things. So I love Axis and Allies. I love war games. I've got a bunch of war games. I've got Age of Conquest that I really want to play, which is a Roman war game. But anyway, Axis and Allies, awesome game. It's, Russia, United States, and United Kingdom versus Japan and Germany. It's if you have the time and you like old war games, dust it off, bring it out. Don't care what the new kids are playing, Lorcana and all this other junk. Go back to your roots. Play some good war games. Have some fun. Have some direct conflict games. But yeah, absolute blast. I've really, really enjoyed playing with Brenda and Nick and my dad. And we won. The Allies won. And it came down to France. It came down to France, invading France and taking stuff. And Russia, man, if you ever play, we ended up having to do... For those that play Axis and Allies, we had to do the meat shield of Russia and Moscow, because Germany just has so much stuff. They just have so much stuff. Oh my goodness, it was ridiculous. But love the game. Axis and Allies 1942. That's what I played.
Love it. That's awesome. Well, I have played a game at BGG Spring. This is Arcs, which is a new space conquest-ish game. Conflict Collapse in the Reach. From Leader Games, the guys who brought you Root. And this is a game basically about, it's got a very interesting action selection mechanism in it, where you basically have a hand of cards, and one person will play a suit, which will be action type, and then they can choose whether or not to zero the number out on their suit, and then choose the scoring part on the bottom of the card to activate, and then it'll activate one of the 5 different types of scoring conditions for that round. Or they can leave it for the number on there, and then you'll be kind of like blocking other people out of that kind of action in some ways, especially if you played a high number. The lower number you play, the more actions you get of that type. The higher number you play, the less actions you get of that type. But then the other players have to either play higher than you to get their full actions, or play lower than you to get just one action. They can also try to steal the initiative from you, so they get to choose the card that gets played next turn. This is very much a trick-taking style action selection. And there's a little bit of depending on how you play your cards, depends on how many actions you get of the same kind of action that the main player chose for everybody to kind of activate. But yeah, you are either trying to be a tycoon and collect a bunch of different types of resources, whether it's oil or like crates or whatever, like goods. You can be a tyrant where you're trying to basically capture a bunch of the other people's players, and that's by either taxing their cities or by the people that they're trying to influence, like stealing them off of them. You can be a warlord by basically destroying the other player's ships. You can get points from that. You can also try to be a keeper, which is just kind of like the little mystical resource. And then there's also an empath, which is another resource type that you can get off different planets. If you have the most of those things, you can get points. It's kind of an interesting thing because like a player will choose and kind of forego being able to stop the other players from doing actions and select one of these things for scoring. And then you can only do this 3 times per round. The first one is worth the most points. The second one is worth the next most points. The third one is the next points after that. So you're kind of like setting up these different actions. But yeah, this game is interesting. It is kind of limiting. It's an interesting game to play as far as like a space conquest game goes, because it's like your hands are a little bit tied with the action cards you get based off of which ones are dealt to you at the beginning of each round, and you're kind to figure out how to best mitigate and adapt to the cards you're dealt as the game goes along. So this isn't kind of like one of those open space conquest games where you can do whatever you want and plan whatever you want. You kind of have to roll with the punches a lot, and sometimes you feel like you're like trying to lead a space fleet with your arms tied behind your back. But there's tons of awesome like special abilities for the different alien races and all these different leaders that you can kind of recruit. One of the cool things I do like about the game is that you can go up to other people's planets and steal goods from them, or even steal their leaders away from them, or their little guys away from them that they have spent a ton of time influencing. You can be like, nah, I'm going to pillage and steal your stuff. It's mine now. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting game. Like, wow, this game has got a lot going on. It's a very, very thinky game. And it'll be interesting to see how people react to it.
I'm definitely excited to get my copy.
You back this one,
but
Matt?
Yeah, I wanted to get a game from Leader Games. I still haven't played Root, but I've also heard that like Root's one of those that like it rewards multiple plays. And given how much of the stuff behind me isn't played, I figured that probably wouldn't be the one to get.
I think this one also reward multiple plays.
Probably.
I think.
I feel like that's
I think any Cole Worley game is going to reward multiple plays because they're very like thinky and a lot going on.
How heavy
normally.
was this? Would you compare to Root?
Compared to Root, I think it is a little bit less overhead because everybody's not completely asymmetrical like Root is. Okay. So you can kind of teach the rules once. In Root, you have to teach everybody their own kind of rules. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be easier to get to the table than Root. And I think I could explain it pretty easily overall. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I'm kind of up in the air about how I feel about it overall because, I don't know, sometimes your choices, like, you can get really nerfed, you know? In this game that I played, I ended up, Candace taught me the game, and she started going towards the tycoon action. And I looked at the board, I looked at everything that was out there, I was like, I think I can steal that from her. So I doubled down on the tycoon action, and then I tripled down on the tycoon action so that all of the scoring was just for tycoon, which you can see in the picture here. And then I also unlocked enough buildings so I was getting extra points if I won. And then I did a little card combination with different stuff and stole all the resources from her, ended up winning tycoon and got 12 points. And you normally play to 27 for a 4-player game. So getting 12 points in a game is like almost half of what you need to win the game. So from that point on, it became a 1 versus many game, basically. They were all talking about constantly how we need to crush Roy and destroy Roy and steal all his stuff. But the game is so limited in your action that even though they were trying to do that stuff, they kind of like had their hands tied in some ways that they couldn't like get to me, couldn't like go over and do stuff, and like somebody would steal some resources from me.
So once you ran away, there was no real catching up?
There was a little bit of catching up, but some of that was because I gave another player, just like let another player win some stuff because I knew I was going to push across the finish line or whatever. But you can get a ton of points in this game real quick, especially if you play your cards right. And sometimes I feel like the cards being played right isn't necessarily your fault. They just kind of fell right. Which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that in game, like being... Like if you don't have the right suit or the right cards, if you draw 0 aggression cards, you're not going to be attacking anybody really, unless somebody else plays an aggression. You know, if you don't draw the right things to mine resources, you're not going to be really getting the resources you need. There is a little bit of thing where you can spend your different tokens to be able to get different actions, but then all of those tokens can be used for scoring. So it's kind of like this interesting tug and pull of like how you want to spend your stuff and then how you want to be set up for scoring in future rounds. It's a really thinky game, and a game where you have to hide your intentions to kind of like best your opponents. So it's pretty fun, but it's interesting. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
The design, Cole Worley, the designer, his designs are so out there and so different
Right.
than almost anything else you're used to. So it's just interesting to see how he approaches these games. But yeah,
Yeah, and
this
I think-
one looks like something I would like to try. But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It's
I don't always
definitely
click with his games, but they're very well designed, I feel like.
yeah, it's definitely a thinky game, you know. And there were several moments where multiple people around the table were like analysis paralysis, trying to figure out like, what do we do? I was trying to figure out how to squeak out my last few points I needed to win, and they were all trying to figure out how do we mess up Roy? You know, it's like it doesn't like, you know, it's very, very interesting. But yeah, it was fun. But yeah, that is Arcs. I don't think this one's even out yet, so I think she had an early copy of it. So hopefully it's coming to backers soon. So, but yeah, Kent's game.
All right. So we played Life of the Amazonia, which was it was a Kickstarter from Bad Comic Games, and it's a bag building game where each player is kind of building a little ecosystem in front of themselves to try to populate it with animals. And there's three different terrain types, and the animals kind of like are looking for certain things. It's got a little bit of a few vibes of like Cascadia, in that you're placing the tiles out and you're trying to optimally get animals in certain configurations based on the animal cards. So every game you're going to have a certain number of animals available to collect from the market and then to put in your area, and all your actions are kind of driven by your bag of resource tokens. So you're going to be drawing resource tokens out in every turn, and then you're going to be using those tokens to do various actions. So like the tokens will let you buy better tokens, or they'll let you add trees or add animals, or get special cards that are either going to be for in-game scoring or for special abilities that like do one-time use abilities, things like that. And kind of the game is driven by the animals on the card. So when a certain number of animals are depleted, the game will end. So it's kind of like a race between the players to try to collect the animals that they want. And certain animals are going to obviously be better for certain situations, but a lot of times it's beneficial to kind of like double down on certain animals, because by you doing that, you're kind of blocking your opponent out from getting certain animals. And the animals, like I said, every game you're going to have different cards for those animals that score different ways. So it's a lot of like, it is very solitaire in that way, because you're kind of building up your own little area and you're trying to optimize your scoring, but you're also trying to kind of pull certain things away from your opponents, reduce some of their options, kind of, especially with the in-game scoring cards that are out and available. And then everyone also has an asymmetrical like special animal they can place out that gives them like a little special ability when you place your special animal out. It gives you some sort of benefit. It's a pretty straightforward game. It's got I'd say it probably plays in probably an hour to 90 minutes. With two players, probably was around a little over an hour, I would guess. But it's fun if you like bag building games and you like kind of the pattern tiling, putting pieces in a certain configuration puzzles. It's got a pretty nice production. The animal meeples are really cute. It's got we just had the regular version, but they do have ones that have like the fancy deluxe tokens and trees and all that kind of stuff. But it looks cool on the table once you have your little animals little area built. It comes with these little boats where you put your discards, and they're so unnecessary, but they're kind of cool to put your tokens there, and you can dump them right back in your bag when you're done with them. But I will say there's this waterfall board, and that's essentially just 3 tracks or 4 tracks that basically track your different actions, and that the track tells you how much you're going to have to pay to do a certain action. And it's pretty unnecessary as far as tracks, as far as just it looks cool because it's a waterfall, but you have to take it apart and put it.
Tree.
Yeah, you have to take it apart, put it back in the box, and it could have just been flat boards.
But then it wouldn't be a waterfall. It would just
I
be
know.
a river.
And then there's these token trays that comes with it, were these cardboard token trays, which are really nice for organizing the stuff. But this game was a bear to punch out and organize. There was so much stuff to figure out and punch out and get it set up. But once you get it set up, it's nice. Except for the waterfall. I don't love putting the waterfall together every time.
I have actually heard that from a lot of people complaining about the waterfall.
Yeah. So I would probably just lay it flat, but this thing is also kind of a table hog. Just with two players, this thing like dominated the table.
Gotcha.
But it's fun. If you like that style of game, if you like that kind of pattern building, if you like the theme, it's worth checking out. It feels very much like a deck builder though. So it's like it could have been done with cards, I would guess. But it's not as much like a push your luck bag builder. It's more of just like a straight deck builder for managing your resources. But that is Life of Amazonia.
Well, I'm really excited about Courtney's game. I'm interested to see what she says about this.
So we got the new Lorcana set, Ursula's Return, which came.
How much is this running for as far as price goes right now?
So it comes out at retail tomorrow, and MSRP is $59.99.
It's not going for MSRP though, is it?
Not right now, but if you go tomorrow to like Barnes & Noble or Target or Walmart, you might be able to find one for MSRP.
Oh,
if
wow.
you bring a bat, you can assure one.
Yeah, so this was the co-op version of Lorcana, and so it comes basically with Ursula, who's like the big baddie, and she's got her own deck that she plays with, and this set comes with two sets for
Two pre-constructed decks.
Two pre-constructed decks for you to play with, so you can play with two people, and it's co-op. And so you're fighting against Ursula. So that's kind of nice because like all the stuff that you need to play it comes in that box. So like that's $59 box or whatever. So you could just, if you're not interested in the rest of Lorcana, you could just, if you find that this one's the hardest to get, but if you find that box, you could just buy that and not need to buy anything else from Lorcana. You can just play that as a co-op
That's
game.
cool.
Now you only can play with two people, but I think you can go up to four, but you'd have to, make more decks to do that. But yeah, so she's got her own play cards. Basically, I mean, as a player, you're just playing Lorcana. You're trying to get 20 lore with your deck before she gets to 40, I think. Is that right? 40 lore. And she's like bringing out, her henchmen or whatever and monsters, and she's trying to get lore and stuff like that. So you're trying to kind of fight against her little minions, kill them off before they can kind of collect lore. And we played it on easy mode, I think, or normal mode. I can't remember.
It was normal.
It was normal mode, I think. And I think we got really, really lucky because she's got this trident card. That's an item that she starts with every game. And it's hard to get rid of it. It like, what did it do? It
just gains her lore every turn.
It makes her gain lore faster. But like her first draw hand got rid of that item. And so I think we were super lucky because we got rid of that really fast. I think it would have probably been a lot harder if that hadn't, we just hadn't drew that luckily. But it was kind of pretty easy. We just used the pre-constructed decks that came with it. We didn't use our own decks. I think they do have different levels. So like I said, we play on the normal mode. So you can make it harder if you want to.
Some of those levels look very hard.
Yeah, some of them look very hard.
Oh, wow.
I tend to like easier co-ops. Like I don't want to make it too hard because that just doesn't seem like fun to me. I mean, I want a challenge, but I don't want it to be like.
You don't want to have to get extremely lucky to win.
I know. I don't want to.
Yes,
I don't want to be play
exactly.
ghost stories. So yeah,
right.
I don't want to just have to. Yeah. So, but I had a good time with it. I thought it was fun. Like the pre-constructed decks were pretty good. I thought against her. So this made me want to play Lorcana more. Because I like co-op games a lot. We have been playing Lorcana more just because Kent's been getting into it. I actually went to his Lorcana night that he goes to every Tuesday. I actually went not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. So that was kind of neat. I got to meet all the people he's been playing with and play myself. So
how'd you do? Did you beat Kent? Is the question. Did you get paired together?
I didn't have to play against Kent, luckily. But no, I won 2 and lost 1. So not too bad. But yeah, it was fun. It was the people there that he plays with are super nice and they were super welcoming and like so glad I was there.
So we've been replaced.
No, they only play Lorcana,
Don't
Rob.
you don't
They
buy
don't
any more board games, and now you have new friends. Okay.
Yeah.
This night.
Well,
Kent was like, Kent was like,
was
I
telling-
can't
was telling Kent after
get
there,
Courtney
there's
to let me buy new cards unless I let. What if I buy cards for her deck? Then I can buy more cards.
yeah.
There you go.
But there was this one guy there. His name was Matthew. Is Matthew, and I was he was so
Would
nice.
you say
He
he's
was
your
like,
favorite Matthew?
no,
Just kidding,
no,
Matt.
not my
I'm just
favorite
kidding, Matt.
Matthew, But I was just saying how he goes by Matthew, not Matt. It's just like there's just two different names in my head. But anyway, so I was saying how he just kind of made me feel like how I just remember like meeting you, Rob, at CMON. It was just like, I don't know, it just made me feel so. You just made me feel so welcome. It was like one of the first conventions we ever went to,
Nice.
and
Never
he just
again.
it just reminded me of that because he was just like making sure I was having a good time and everything. So that was, I don't know. it was-
All that's
it made it
done
fun.
now. I only do that for board game people.
Okay.
Done.
Whatever. You're playing Lorcana too. Don't even play.
Well, and I also
Yeah.
pre-ordered this Ursula.
Yeah, I really think I think she'll like it. I think y'all have a fun with
more.
this.
I've been summoned.
I'm excited. I'm excited about this because when Ashes came out with the cooperative mode, like I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the Keyforge cooperative mode, and I think like this will be like, oh, well, I could technically play Lorcana solo. Well, then I can actually
Yeah.
like get some games in and try it out a little bit more and test decks out and
And
things like that.
Running Ursula is very easy. It's not hard at all. Literally, all you do on your turn is she resolves her like cards. You just turn them all sideways and do whatever they say, and then you just resolve a few cards. So you reveal cards from her deck based on how many she draws, and if she can't play it because she doesn't have enough ink, you ink it, and then you reveal the next card. And if you can't play it, she either plays it or inks it, and then you just go on to that. You're just done. So
I'll call you.
it's really easy.
Oh, and the
um,
other thing is like when we're playing together, it's simultaneous.
Oh yeah, you all play
So
simultaneous. You
so
can
so I'm not having to
collaborate.
wait for him to take his turn and then I take my turn. So that
What?
kind of speeds it up too.
But you can help each other too.
Yeah.
There's singing together songs where you can say like, okay, I'll use this character to sing, and you use your character to sing, and we'll sing the song together, and then we'll, for example, I'll heal. Okay, I'll heal your character, and your character will go challenge, and then do this, and then, I'll give you support. So there's
That's
a lot
awesome.
of
So the decks in
collaboration.
it are made to collaborate specifically.
A little bit, yeah.
I love that.
A little bit, not like there's definitely some stuff that does not, but there are things you can collaborate with. Oh, and the last thing is you can go above 20 lore. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
all players have to reach 20 lore. So if one player goes higher or one player is doing a lot better, you can spend, depending on what difficulty level you're on, there's different things you can spend lore to do. So like you can spend lore to exert a character, one of her characters. So you can spend lore to draw a card, or you can spend lore to do various things. So like there's ways to like kind of mitigate some of the bad stuff, especially if one person's far ahead.
Yeah, because I was like, I got to 20 lore a lot faster than Kent, so I was like, I could spend my lore to let him draw another card,
Yeah.
or spend some lore to let him unexert a character to like get more lore or something.
Or challenge again, or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I think my copy ships out tomorrow.
The only thing, the paper mat is disappointing. So like you have that, so her little player board is
Mhm.
paper, which is.
Which I
super-
use the paper mats for my player
Yeah.
section. With
I
the
wish
stuff.
just coming from the board game side of it, it's like component quality is just garbage for like the mat.
I mean, Ravensburger,
Yeah.
never.
And
I mean,
then
they're-
the box
yeah.
it comes in is not really a usable box, just because it's like you can't open it and use it again because it's like one of those
Cheap boxes.
display boxes. Yeah. So I will say that's the biggest downside. It's just if you're a board gamer and you're expecting it to be a board game quality box, you're not getting that. You need,
Oh,
you need to
for
find
sure.
someone else to put
It's
it in.
it's a starter deck quality box, right? So
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically designed to go in the trash. So
yeah.
Anyway.
If I
Order-
see this at like MSRP and not like crazy jacked up prices, I might try to get a hold of it. Just
yeah,
'cause.
like I said, I think $59.99 is MSRP right now, and then you get a lot of good
$59.99.
cards. You get some good quality cards in there. Like some of the cards in there are like there's
Are
one
there
of the
any
cards.
promo decks or
There's
booster
4
packs?
promo cards in there, and one of them is a Mulan, which is the legendary card for the new set. And I think last I checked, it was going for $20 or $30 for just that card by itself.
Wow.
So,
Okay, so I might make some of my money back.
so if you
Yeah, I
sell,
ordered
even
it
if you
for
sell like some of the
Amazon.
like the legendary singles, you might make some money back. I don't know what they're going for now, but it's got some decent cards in there for sure.
That's
Okay.
cool. Well, I'm excited to try that out.
And the
I'll save my
really
copy.
sad news Kent got this week.
Oh, they're shutting
What?
down the
shutting
online
down.
Lorcana digital platform. They
Oh,
got
was
it.
just
Ravensburger
gonna play
is?
with you on-
Yeah, so Ravensburger / Disney, I'm not sure which one, has sent a message to the designer and said, you need to
Cease
shut down.
and desist.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he said he will, and it's shutting down. It's very sad.
Ah.
He was like, I got the worst news of my life, and I was like, did somebody die?
No, I didn't say the
And he
worst.
was-
I said I got some really bad news. It's terrible. And
And I was like, did somebody die? And he was like, kinda. And I was like, what?
All of Disney characters died, and it's Disney's fault.
yeah, but
Ah.
yeah, it's sad times.
I was like, what are you gonna do with all your
No
time
more,
now?
no more play testing unless
Wah,
it's in
wah,
person.
wah.
Which means
Sorry,
you're gonna have to
don't
play
do
test
that.
me
That sounds
more.
really-
Well, our topic is kids games for adults.
Lorcana.
Yes.
There we go.
I'm surprised nobody picked that.
Well, Lorcana is a little bit advanced overall. You know, I wouldn't say it's like a kids game. It's
It
a
depends on what kind. Yeah, it depends on your age, your target age for that. Whatever you
Yeah.
consider kids game
Kids,
age.
yeah.
But yeah, so this is games that we think are designed for kids, but work really well with, like, you can just play them with your game group or play them with whoever you want. So it can be with your family, you can play it with your kids, and then you can throw it on the table with just your other gamer friends, which is a lot of fun. So I guess we'll start off with Matt's game.
Yeah, I chose Hand Hand Wombat, a game that we've already talked about a little bit this evening. But it's a super easy to play game that's wild and wacky. It gets pretty crazy. You can play it with gamers, you can play it with kids, you can play it with your random family members. You can take it to a bar and watch it get wet and maybe broken. But
I close my eyes and I stick my thing in here and I gotta feel
Yeah,
the
yeah.
nubs.
maybe not the bar, actually.
I gotta feel the nubs.
I didn't realize Eric Lang worked on this game until last weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the reasons why we bought it
I think so.
when we
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
Originally, yeah.
He's really had a journey as a developer, I'd say.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I don't. It's a super easy game. I was having trouble picking games. My first choice was Cash and Guns, and then I was like, well, maybe not kids game per se.
I
Yeah. Not quite.
don't think so.
Mm-mm.
You can teach proper firearm safety and not play the game at all. But yeah, Hand to Hand Wombat I think is just really easy, simple. It's a little dexterity. It's a little sort of
Teaching
I
your
think
kids
I
how to
forgot
lie.
how to speak English. Social deduction, that's the word.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff that you can get pretty much anybody to play. And it's always a good time.
I haven't played this one with adults, but I did at last Dice Tower East play it with like all of my kids. Well, I played it with Scotty, Violet, and Emma, and like I set the camera to record while we were playing, and then we all played with our eyes closed, and it was amazing because like my daughter was the bad wombat or the naughty wombat or whatever it's called in the thing, and like we're playing the game, we're doing all this stuff, we did all the things, then we woke up and we're like, oh goodness, what happened? Like we accused or whatever. And it was so funny to see what the person that's like the bad wombat is doing to mess things up, like and what they did. It's like, holy crap, you just pulled that thing off right after I put it on there? That's so messed up. You know, it's just so fun. But yeah, I loved it. It was great. I would like to play this with adults as well. I think that would be a good pick. That's pretty fun.
You can tell whose hands are whose, right, Rob? That's what happened when we
can
played.
tell. I can tell because I have bananas for fingers, so like you know it's mine. But I don't recommend you play with Kent because
I was
even
gonna
if he's
say,
on your
when I
team,
play this, I don't care what role I'm in. I'm causing chaos.
I still remember
why?
game 2. We're playing it.
How are we gonna find the bad
Everything's
guy
going
then?
And then
You didn't
Kent
care?
starts spinning the box, just ripping it. And
Yeah.
we're like, what's going on?
and then I'm convinced it's Kent, and he's just
Yeah.
laughing like, no, it's not me.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
the
wasn't.
fun. It wasn't me.
So basically, you're bragging about ruining the game, Ken. I see how it is.
Yeah,
I'm just causing confusion for the bad guy.
Hey, when it only lasts...
That you're helping the bad guy. If you're not a bad guy, you're not supposed to help the bad guy.
No, I wasn't helping him. I was just trying to throw him
no,
off.
you were out.
Why did you give your money to Rob in Rising Sun, Kent? No, I'm just kidding. Or what? No, Rob gave. Man, I don't know what happened. It's fine.
That's how Rising Sun is.
All right,
That's how it is. sometimes.
Rob's game, the best game. He picked the best one.
I've only ever played this game one time with children.
right?
I've only played it one time with children, and it was Rhino Hero. It was Super Rhino Hero. Mine was Rhino Hero or Super Rhino Hero Battle. Absolutely love this game. This was one of the first games that I would say Matt and Roy and I would play consecutively in his garage, and his garage would get hot. So we put the fan on by the door, and one of us would stand in front of the fan while the game was going when it wasn't our turn, rotating with the fan, to try to help make sure it wouldn't knock over. Rhino Hero is so great, and I love how it's made for 5 years old and up. And I've only ever played with kids one time. It's such a great game because you just get a card and you follow the instructions on your card. You either put the piece a certain way, or then you got to move the rhino on it. And again, when you have bananas for fingers and you're trying to take that little bitty rhino piece on the first one and put them in those little spaces, it is so much fun. And then Rhino Hero Super Battle just adds more dimensions and depths where you can build out and up. And then you got monkeys and stuff like that too. So absolutely love it. This is one of those games where I don't think we ever keep points. It's just whoever didn't knock it over won. It's just one of those games where you just have a good time. You're just playing to try to mess with people.
I love how serious we took this game as adults.
Oh no, bro, we took this game
For real.
super serious.
Because I've played this game with people who didn't take it seriously, and it kind of ruined it for me in some ways. I'm like, guys, no, try, like really try. We really tried when we played this game, and it was fun.
We had fun. Matt and I don't think Matt and I cared about who won, but we cared about using every card.
Yeah.
Our whole objective was you got to build this thing as tall as you can get it.
Yes, exactly.
So we were serious about the build. We weren't serious about it, but we were serious about the build. You better not mess up this structure. I'm working hard on this structure. So it's so much fun. It's one of my favorite games. I'll never get rid of either one of my copies because I still have the original Rhino Hero and the Rhino Hero Super Battle. Just a great game. I may play with my kids when they get older, but I don't need to play with them. I need to play with adults. We got to build the tower. So,
I love it.
I was going to say, I think even like from my perspective, like what you guys were saying, I think if I played it with children, I think it would probably make me angry. Like it would ruin the experience for me where I'd be like, this is not the game that I played. It's still fine.
Yeah,
I played it cooperative with kids and just tried to
guys,
talk them into like not knocking it down. But man, it is kind of frustrating. We're like 4 high and it falls. What? We're supposed to get like 18 high.
It started. Come on, get your head in the game.
Well, our kids are like little game designers, and they are like, "Oh, mommy, I don't want to play it the real rules. I want to play it my way." And I'm just like, "No, I want to play it the real rules." No, then you can't play. So they'll just sit there and they build their little towers and stuff like that, and then they just make up their own little rules. And then I'm like, okay, whatever, just do it.
We have played a few
the
times.
apple fell so far from the tree at that point. Like, are you sure they're Kent's kids? They're not playing by the rules?
No,
That's
Steven
wild.
actually loves to make up his own rules for games, and like most of the time doesn't want to. If because Kent and I are like, okay, we're not gonna, because it's a kid, so of course they're gonna make the rules till they win, right? So it's like Kent and I have gotten to the point where we're not playing if we're not playing the rules. Okay, fine, we'll go play by ourselves, mommy. I'm like, okay.
It's like when little kids tell you they want to write in cursive, and it's just like a bunch of squiggly lines. Like, no, this is my cursive, my special handwriting, my rules. Let me play with my rules.
Yeah.
I almost picked Happy Salmon, but Happy Salmon is not a kid's game. It's just you act like children while playing Happy Salmon. Which
Who's that snack? Scotty?
Scotty busted his lip. The last time I played was with a bunch of people from church, and we had a grown man who couldn't understand switcheroo, and so he literally ran around the table just yelling switcheroo. He went like 4 or 5 times. He would not stop. We all just playing and just laughed at him, and he's like, "What? Switcheroo!" Like he thought that's what he was supposed to do until somebody joined him. Like it was a Congo line or something. Nobody's joining you. But Rhino Hero, that's my kid game.
Gosh,
I love it. Well, my kid game is a game that's so new. I don't think it's even out yet, but this is a game, and I am allowed to talk about this, I think. It is for pre-order from Gamewright. I think it's on some website stores. That's also on BGG, but this game is super, super fresh, and this is Wrath of Fire Mountain. This is a Phil Walker Harding and Eric Lang game. This is basically it almost feels like kids Blood Rage or like kids area control game. You're basically, yes, 100%. You are chucking dice Yahtzee style to choose your actions as you play the game. You're trying to control different areas on the board, but you're also trying to control a volcano. That when the volcano erupts, you score all the different places on the board, and you're racing to a certain number of victory points depending on the player. You can also roll the egg face on the die, and when you do that, you're going to hatch dinosaurs. If you get a certain amount of eggs, you can gain different dinosaurs. You're going to put the little rings on there, and then you'll have the dinosaur as part of your thing. All the dinosaurs have different powers that act like extra cavemen for you, or allow you to fly around the board with your dinosaur, allow your dinosaur to go into water, or allow your dinosaur to ignore all the other cavemen for area control. But yeah, all sorts of different powers. Eric Lang only makes one kind of game, and it's monsters, but this time the monsters are dinosaurs. But yeah,
had me at Eric Lang and Phil Walker Harding.
I just pre-ordered.
He just-
you should. You're going to be one of the first,
I never
Kent.
heard of this. Oh my gosh.
Eric Lang was showing this off, and he's like, I don't know if you can post pictures of this till after the con. And I'm like, it's up for pre-order. It's on BGG. So what? Yeah, it's on Miniature Market. And he's like, what? I can't believe this. And I'm like, well, I guess I can talk about it then. He's like, okay, you can talk about it. I'm like, okay, cool. I saw him play this multiple times with a bunch of different people. I played it a couple times with him. I taught it to Our Family Plays Games. They had a blast with it. But basically, if you roll huts, you put little guys on the huts. If you roll a cave, you put the little guys on the cave. If you roll feet, you can then move your guys. And each time the volcano scores, you are going to score for how many either of the forest or the grasslands there are together. You're going to take all your cavemen, whoever has the most on there, take all their cavemen off, and you score points for that. Also, that only happens when the volcano is full. Whoever has the most on a volcano gets 3 points. Also, each turn, if you have the most on or are tied for the most on a volcano, you're going to be able to shift all of the tiles. So it's an area control game where the tiles are constantly shifting and moving, and you're kind of using that to make your areas bigger or smaller. And just because it has the simple Yahtzee mechanic of chucking the dice, this is a very accessible for kids area control game. But I've only played with adults so far, but I'm totally going to get this and play this with my kids. I should pre-order it as well, Kent. Add another one onto your order.
It's the purpose.
That's already
You
put
cannot
in.
play with your kids.
I know,
It says-
but I'm
it says
saying I
December
haven't played.
2024.
Really?
That's unfortunate, but yeah.
But
What
I
it said
think
on
they're
the
going to have it at Gen Con, is what he said.
Okay,
So we'll
well, I
see.
won't be a Gen Con, but I'll wait.
I almost
could be a Gen
I almost
Con.
bought tickets for Gen Con this year just so I can play Axis and Allies in their World Championship.
Come on, Rob. I'll sneak
Do
you
it.
into my room. I'll sneak you into my
Do it.
room.
You just have to go get us Lorcana promos.
I have me
Yes.
and Jason and Mike in our room. We could fit
I would
more
totally
people in
sleep
here.
on the
Can
floor.
we talk about casters all night long?
Oh, dear Lord. No, he's over the casters thing. We got the casters he wanted, and they're great. But oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a great car ride. But yeah, this game is gonna be fun, and it's gonna be great for families, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It is
looks
literally
great. I love
like
the idea.
it really feels a little bit. It's not that complex at all, but it feels like my first Blood Rage to me, at least. You know,
My first Blood Rage.
that is what it kind of is.
Yeah. First, like, I still think Blood Rage is a good game.
And that's perfect because I've got like 2 daughters, so it's like, okay, my first Blood Rage. ah.
But it's cavemen instead of Vikings, you know.
Move
So
on. Next game.
I know we joke a lot that Rob likes to pre-order a game based on somebody talking about it, but I have never seen everybody on this podcast immediately go to their second monitor and just wide-eyed stare at it.
I want to pre-order it too, but I'm gonna try to pick it up at Gen Con maybe,
Oh man,
because I want it faster than December, because that's just too late.
that was delightful.
Also, I don't know if anybody has talked about it anywhere yet. But yeah, hopefully, he didn't make me sign anything, so well, that's fine.
That's right.
And if you're listening to this, Eric, I'm sorry. I was kidding. Design Blood Rage 2, and then I'll apologize. No, I'm just kidding.
You did know it was called Rising Sun.
No, he is
That'd be
designing
so
a expansion
awesome
for Blood
to get
Rage
his
someday.
signature on
Someday.
my Blood Rage box.
We got a signature on our Blood Red box.
Hmm
And
I got to assign my Godfather board,
Oh wow.
and he put little fishes in the river, like little dead fishes. Oh, you can't get it out.
man,
Oh, he wrote you a small.
Steve wrote you a yeah.
This is at was it CMON?
This is CMON Expo.
CMON Expo, like
Nice.
when they actually did that in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. Well, Kent's game.
Yeah, so I picked Ice Cool and Ice Cool 2, basically the same game. They're just kind of mirror images of each other. So it's basically like a kid's dexterity game where you're penguins in a high school and you're trying to run away from the hall monitor because you're skipping class. And you're flicking your penguins through different doors and you're trying to collect fish. Or if you're the hall monitor, you're trying to catch the penguins. So by running into the different penguins and you take their cards and get some points. So it's just silly fun. It's just dexterity. It's playing with adults is cool because you can try to go for these crazy trick shots. These penguins, if you get good at shooting them, like you can flick them in certain ways where they'll like jump over walls and do like these cool spins or kind of loop back through doorways. People get really good at this game, and it's kind of ridiculous. But the penguins have these little they're kind of wobbly heads, and they've got these like bases that kind of slide really easy, and they wobble around. And it's just a lot of fun. Like I like the flicking aspect of this game, and I like trying to do the trick shots. Like get the penguin to jump over the door and go back around, and I like being the hall monitor too, especially where you're trying to catch the other penguins and just take them out. And that kind of ends around early too if you're the hall monitor. So it's just a lot of fun. It's really easy, and it's a nice I also like the aspect of the boxes, the nesting boxes, where you can like build these cool maps. So they're like a little bit different depending on how you want to do it. And then with the expansion, you can make these super massive maps. So you can have these areas where the pieces kind of slide in between the maps. So like you have these like little passageways. You can like adjust where they are. So like the positions of them change as you play. So you can count as like if you fall off the board, you can be considered like you're out, kind of where you reset back. It's just a lot of fun. Ice School or Ice School 2 or both combined. So that's my pick.
If you play this game and your finger's not hurting by the end of it, I don't think you really played the game.
My fingers always. I can't play this.
No,
I refuse to play this game.
The
My
giant
fingers-
version, that's the finger killer.
Oh, that's the one I played mostly because that's what we have at the Dice Tower.
The super giant
Library,
one. It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, even the base one though, those penguins are pretty hard, and if you flick them pretty
Bro,
hard,
they hurt.
try
They
to
hurt
get
so
them.
bad.
First game, you'll be like,
Sometimes-
oh, okay, but by the end of game 2,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, hey, let's play something else.
Sometimes it's
You
worth the
flick with your
pain.
middle finger, you're just
Yeah.
going through.
win.
Just,
My daughter's crying, but she's like, I want to keep playing.
I need fish.
Give me the fish.
This is
I love it.
another one
That's
the
a great
kids play
pick.
with their own rules.
Yeah.
Dexterity
for
games
sure.
are so fun for this category, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Such a great
Oh, there's
pick.
still supposed to be a new version of this coming out called Iron Forest or something. I've not heard about that.
I made me think about it, and because we backed it.
So it's like a three-dimensional
three-dimensional
high school
one.
where you you can shoot them up on higher levels and stuff. But
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about
It's
it. It was
supposed to
many years
deliver
ago.
this month.
Well,
in
that's
May.
what I liked
It's supposed to
about
deliver,
Ice Cream
but
2
they
Is
still
it
haven't finished
next
production.
to the first box.
Yeah, and it's literally just a mirror image of the same game, like in every way.
Nice.
So if the third box, that'd be cool if the third one connects as well.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, the third one's called a different game, but I'm not sure.
It's called Iron Fortress.
Oh, Iron
Does it
Fortress.
have
Okay.
penguins?
No, Iron Forest.
Iron
Sorry,
Forest,
Iron
okay.
Forest.
It's a
Yeah.
different. No penguins. It's a similar thing, but it's like a different theme.
Oh, so it's
Like they have
is it
little
like the
mechs and
catapult
stuff.
game and then the crossbows and catapult game.
Yeah, it's a little. You have.
Sort of.
Little, they're trying to get the catapults right or the launchers right. They said they still haven't.
Yeah.
It's supposed to deliver. It's supposed to deliver May 2023.
Gotcha.
What? Iron
Iron
Force?
Forest. Yeah, it's by
Yeah.
the same company who made Ice Schools. It's
So
basically
they're a year behind.
a similar style game.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my crossbows and catapults. I know you guys backed out of that, but I stuck with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still regretting kind of backing out, but we'll see.
Courtney's not. She's like, nope.
No. Mm-mm.
No.
Courtney's got another dinosaur game.
This
Yeah,
is a
dinosaur
great game.
games
I've
are
actually
great.
played-
Great for kids. This is Jurassic
And adults.
Snack. So this is Bruno Catala, and it's got dinosaurs. So who can say no to that? So we have when they first came out with Jurassic Snack, they had like this extra large version, which has like these dinosaurs that are like about the size big as my hand, and which is really cool because they look like. I mean, they look like
They're
toys. I mean,
toys.
all of them look like toys, but these were like really like cool looking toys. And so it's basically an abstract strategy game. You've got your blue dinos and their team has their yellow dinos, and you're going around a board and you're flipping tiles over to get like points basically, but you can sometimes flip a tile over, and that brings out the T-Rex, and the T-Rex scares away the little dinos, right? He doesn't eat them. And so you can use the T-Rex to like scare off the other players, and so you're basically trying to get rid of the other. You can either win by getting more points at the end of the game if there's no tiles left, or you win by scaring off or killing the other players' dinosaurs. And then they came out a couple years later with Jurassic Brunch, which has
Is it the same thing?
It's different.
It's similar. It's kind of got similar rules, but it's a little different. But this one has raptors and a little triceratops. But then you can, which our kids love to do, is you can actually combine the two games to like make one mega game and play with 4 players, because normally they're both 2-player games. So it's like I said, it's just kind of a fun little abstract strategy game, but it's simple enough that the kids can play it. But it's abstract enough that adults could play it too. So it's fun. It's got cute little dinosaurs.
Love it. Looks awesome. Dinosaur games are the best. I haven't seen this game at all, which is kind of crazy. I was like, huh.
It's been in. You can find it in Barnes and Noble. I think at least the original one.
How old is it?
Snack. I've got it.
Pretty old. It's like 2015, maybe 2016.
Oh,
no, it's
interesting.
not that. It's not that old.
I must have just missed it then.
It's probably 2000 something.
That's wild. That's cool. though.
2018.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. Nice. Jurassic Snack and Jurassic Brunch. And now I'm hungry. Hungry for dinosaurs. But yeah, let us know what games you guys think would be cool to play, that are kids games, would be cool to play with adults as well. I don't think it says that we're just childish. I think it just says we like to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that's what games are about, right? It's having
That's
fun.
what games are about. So, but yeah.
Yeah, there's
Good.
a lot. There's a lot of, mostly dexterity, but there's a lot to pick from. There's a lot better kids games nowadays that are you can play with your kids and still have a pretty fun time. I would say.
One game that I would love to have put on the list was Slide Quest. It's so fun.
Oh, that game is
with
so
adults.
hard.
I love
that game's
playing it.
hard.
It's really hard with kids, so that's why
It is hard with kids.
playing it with adults is more fun. We play with kids, you're going to lose, know. Or sometimes you play with the parents play with the kids for a little bit, and they're like, "No, kids, just hey, go play Nintendo. Let's go, go play the NES." That's what the parents say these days, right? Go play the Nintendo, right?
Yes.
No,
Switch.
You're right. But yeah, well, does anybody else have anything to add to this podcast?
Play war games. Somebody come play more war games with me.
Yes, I am so
Play
tired.
more Lorcana.
Is it wrong that I'm like so tired of of seeing non combat-y fighty games all over people's lists all the time? I'm like, come on, let's get into some action here. Why are you guys so boring? That's fine.
So boring.
They are so boring. I've been
Do you
running.
think, though, Dune War for Arrakis, though, it probably is the War of the Ring killer. Just because, the one thing I don't like about War of the Ring after playing Dune is, the whole Frodo and Sam aspect of it. It's
I love that part, though, because it's part of the story,
That's the only reason why I like it, is because it's literally part of the story. But the game makes you do that journey. It doesn't allow you to do your own thing.
Right.
You have to do that journey. When Dune War for Arrakis, man, it's like a sandbox of all right, here you go. You don't
You
have
really,
to do
I mean,
all
but
this-
really, as the Harkonnen, you can't really do much besides destroy sieges. You really need to do
Yeah.
that, or else you're going to give them too much time. But yeah, it's great.
both
But yeah,
ways.
I agree
I
with
need
you.
to play War of the Ring again, man. Next time you're in town or something like that, and you have 8 hours to.
I mean, I could have tons of hours as long as you don't mind my kids running around your house. My kids are actually pretty good because they're pretty old at this point, so they're old kids.
Yeah,
But
give them some
but yeah,
jobs.
as long as you promise not to push Scotty over, then we'll be good. I can't make that promise.
Not to play Happy Salmon. No blood will be drawn. Which I
That's
still
awesome.
play. I'm about to be 41, and I still run around and play that game.
We can play Happy Salmon with Scotty and go full circle.
That That should be like, if I ever do that though, that'll be the last time I ever play, because it's like, no, gotta seal it, gotta seal it.
Gotta
No,
finish it
Scotty
off.
just comes out with a dagger. He's just like, I remember you.
This is the dark.
Or we play.
That would actually be
like
pretty
a
amazing, 'cause I
teenager,
don't
like
think
a
he will.
Junior or senior in high school puts on like.
I mean,
some,
Isaac
football
sure
pads, and
doesn't.
he's
So,
like, revenge.
anyway,
What's up, Scotty? Coming for you, bud. Switcheroo.
I love it. Switcheroo, run all the way around the table, all the way around.
The guy we were playing with, he kept running around, and we were like, "What are you doing?" Like, we stopped
Switcheroo,
running. Like,
switcheroo.
He was excited. Don't
Switcheroo.
ruin his fun.
Switcheroo,
He's having a
switcheroo.
good
We were
time.
like, bro, that's not the. Nobody else did switcheroo that way. Nobody else did it, and he's
Look.
just like,
He's getting his exercise.
Yeah, he was just having fun playing Duck Duck Goose for the first time in 40 years.
in his defense, his wife played the first round, and you guys know me. I'm as quiet as a mouse. I was a little intimidating to her, and so she didn't play the second round, and he jumped into play, so he wasn't really really paying attention. But I mean, I guess I got a little loud the first round. She's like, "No, I don't want it anymore. I'm done." So
I love it.
it's
I
just
gotta
such
pull back out Happy Salmon, because Happy Salmon with Ruthie would be insane.
You got to get both decks with both colors, and when you play with a bunch of people, it is.
Yeah, it gets crazy.
It's fun.
I love it. Every
I-
time we have like a party thing at the
I don't
house.
know if I can play that around a table or around
man.
our table.
Yeah, we get like one of those plastic tables, fold out plastic tables,
Gotcha.
because we know it's going to get knocked over or something. Like
Oh, there you go.
there will be people getting hurt.
I should play it at a Dice Tower event. I should bring my own copy, because I don't know if it's in. I don't think it's in the library. I should bring my own copy and play at a Dice Tower event, so Tom can be mad at me again. We played we played Spiky Dastards, and he's like, guys, take it down a little bit, guys. We're having fun.
No, man, Happy Salmon, you cannot take it down.
I know, right?
Now the good thing though is it doesn't.
We should
last
go to the
very long.
quiet room. I don't think we have a quiet room at the Dice Tower. Maybe we do. There's a quiet room. We should
They
go to the
used
quiet room.
to.
and
They
play.
do. I think
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Could
Apparently,
you
one
imagine
time at
playing
one
that
point
in
it was
the
like,
quiet room? High five.
It turns into a game of Silent Library.
Right?
Spiky Dastards in the quiet room would be.
Might be
blast.
banned for the convention for doing that.
yeah.
Spiky
Well, you
Dastards.
know.
The quiet part would be not.
Who's gonna shrink wrap all the
Like-
all the shelves if I'm banned from the convention? I have value. I know where my value lies. It's
I
not in
remember
running all the
just going to grab
streams. It's
one
not
of
in
those
editing
spikes and
videos.
put
It's
my
in
fingernail.
shrink wrapping.
Wreck me up.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us here on the podcast. And we will see you guys all next time. See you later. Bye.
Stay tuned. You never know when we're going to come on. It could be 2 months from now.
It could be
Thursday.
tomorrow.
It could be tomorrow.
the middle of a Lorcana tournament. Who
You
knows?
have no idea.
It just means we appreciate it.